Good morning, everyone, or good evening if you're watching this video at night, next Thursday. My name is Chris Cabaj. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm your son or daughter's macroeconomics teacher, and if they have microeconomics in the spring, I'm likely their teacher as well, although we might have an extra section. So Ms. Julie Breyer-Smith could be their teacher, but hopefully they'll be with me in the spring as well. So many of your sons and daughters do take both classes, both micro and macro. So we're in the first semester, and I'm extremely excited to be teaching this course. I've been teaching this course now for about 7 years here at LT. I've been teaching for 21 years now. I think 17 of them here now at LT. I'm an LT graduate myself. I'm born and raised in Western Springs. Still live in town, so I told the students the other day, if you see a really tall guy walking around with his dog, that's 5 in the morning, that's usually me, and not to be scared and make sure they say hi. So I really wanted to take this moment really to kind of let you know who I am, who's kind of on Zooms with your kids here. Unfortunately, it's not in person, but I'm fingers crossed we're going to be back in the classroom as soon as possible and getting back to it. But I kind of wanted to give you just a little take on where I'm coming from. Like I said, I've been teaching this course for a while. I love it. I actually fell in love with economics when I was a student at LT. So for me, this is something that's just, when I finally was able to teach AP Econ, it just has made my day. And I get excited. I know Econ gets a bad rep often with being the dismal science, but I try to bring a vibe to class that's exciting, and I hope your kids are kind of feeling that. I know it's tough over Zoom. We're doing the best we can, and to their credit, so far, I'm really proud of them. I'm excited that they're sticking with it and they're working hard, because the class, I mean, it's challenging. So how we kind of do that in class, and how we shape class in the two days that we're in block scheduling is really important. So I'm trying to set it up similar to how I've set up class, obviously without being able to be in groups in person. But we're doing the best we can with learning the skills that go along with this course. So it's a tough one, but again, I've kind of molded class to be, I present the skills, we work on them together, we learn the models, and then we practice. So we've been in breakout rooms practicing with our material, with our workbooks, all the different economic models that are coming along in macro, and then we come back and we talk about it, and we go back into groups and change some things. So in that respect, Econ has been, I think it's really doable with Zoom. I'm pretty happy with how it's going so far. And again, the kids are there, they're paying attention as best they can, and the thing I keep telling them is that because of the situation we're in, even if we weren't remote, if we were in class, we would still have the same workload on them. So in terms of they're reading the book, they're doing the practice on their own, they're doing the problem sets. So we really haven't changed much in that regard. The one thing that is a little different at LT than some schools is that macro and micro, we teach a semester course for each of those. And again, I usually say this at every open house over the years, and that is that there's a kind of a catch-22. The great thing is that our kids get to sit both tests in May and hopefully get credit for both. Whereas in some schools, they'll teach micro for an entire year, and then the next year follow back with macro, or vice versa. So that obviously gives those schools a chance to do really in-depth study, and it makes it a little more time challenged, I guess, at LT. So we have to roll. So when we're in the class, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and in my case, we're going. So I'm presenting, I'm doing direct instruction, and we're just going to keep cruising. So there's not a lot of fluff time in the class, and there's also a lot of responsibility on your kids to kind of keep up in the book and that kind of thing. I did want to mention that the remote assessments that we've kind of figured out for now are using reading quizzes, so your kids might talk about those, and then also using the AP Classroom site, which has actually been really improved since last spring. I'm not sure if there are other AP classes are using that site, but we are. in econ, and I really like it because I can create tests on that site that they would then take. They see the results. We get to go over them in class. It keeps a recorded, log throughout the entire year. So the AP Classroom site and making sure they're all logged onto that and using it is really important. So far, so good. We've had just 1 or 2 hiccups with a few students getting logged in and actually taking the test and that kind of thing. But that's kind of the week-to-week way we're going to assess. Also, lots of practice. So, handing things in via Canvas will also be the way that we're going to go about this until we get back into the classroom and doing kind of the normal routine there. I do also want to mention, I don't have that much time to, normally we could go on forever if we were at school doing this Thursday night, but I wanted to give you guys a couple of things in terms of communicating with me that would be hopefully useful to you, and obviously for your son or daughter too, which I've already mentioned to them, and hopefully they can remember to do this, because on the asynchronous days, for example, so we teach our class they take on Mondays and then Tuesdays and Thursdays. On the Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm available to help them with any of the problem sets, and students have already started emailing me, setting up our own personal Zoom, and then we go through problems and go through different workbook skill sets and things like that. So that's fantastic. I wanted to mention I'm also the assistant AD at school, so on after school hours, normally I'm out at South Campus or out at Flag Creek Golf Course, and we're just kind of setting up and supervising sports. So that's something that normally would take me away from helping students after school. But being able to set up Zooms has been great. So please encourage your kids that if they're struggling on any of the skill sets as we kind of get a little more difficult and keep adding on and get a little more complicated, please reach out to me via email, and then let's set up a Zoom just with me and them. And we can have a study group, some of their friends. I'm up for all of that. So they've been starting to do that, which has been, I think, really good and helpful. And I want to encourage you guys also to communicate with me in the same way. So please, if something's not sitting right with you, or your son or daughter says something about class and you want some clarification, please email me my LT email, and then we can set up a Zoom too. I know we're all getting kind of zoomed out, probably in your jobs, and I've been Zooming more than I ever have over the last 4 or 5 months. But it is a good way to kind of have some face-to-face and get some clarification, and I'm perfectly fine with doing that. So please email me, and we can set up we could do weekly if you're really concerned. I have no problem on those asynchronous days. If you want to just talk and chat about the class or about where your son or daughter is at, let's do that. Okay, so I wanted to mention that. Also wanted to mention different opportunities for help and assistance. Again, email is the first kind of line of defense there, or first avenue in which we'll communicate, and then we can set up from there whatever we need to do to communicate on our end there. And I guess lastly, just the setup of class and the platform. I want you guys to know, again, I'm born and raised here. I love the place. For me, LT is the gold standard, and it's why I wanted to come back and teach here, and why I haven't moved out of the community. And there's a lot of us that haven't, and it really is something that's a place that's near and dear to us. So I want you guys to know that I'm not taking the situation, the current class structure, on as a negative. I'm staying positive. I'm projecting that to the kids. I tell a lot of stories, and I kind of bring back local stories through, that's how I teach economics. I try to get them to notice and witness things in their community, and then we bring it back to the classroom and we talk about it. And we explain how things have changed in the 40 years that I've been in the area. So I'm hoping that's a way to connect, and a way to make a really abstract subject that is difficult. Once we kind of get moving into the next couple of units here, they're going to be kind of doing some stuff that they've never done before. And for many of my students, and you guys will probably see this at home, they're usually pretty good students. And when they get to econ, econ is different, and they do struggle. So a number of your kids are going to probably struggle on the first few tests. Hopefully it's not that many. I want you to know that I'm willing to do retakes. I'm willing to work with them to get better, to change their grade. For me, it's really all about the process. So I've always kind of taken on teaching economics as to what can we do in the process, not necessarily the product. All right, let's obviously the product's important, but what are the steps that we need to change or learn moving forward to have a better product? So I've always taught economics in that way. And again, it's starting out so far the first few weeks really well, I think, even though it's challenging. I know it's challenging for the kids to pay attention all day, in their bedroom on Zoom. So some of our classes are being taught, my first period class, it's their last period of the day. So I realized that was a pretty rough day usually on those guys. And then to come in and study an really abstract science like econ can be tough. So I'm fully aware of that. And we're just doing our best to mix it up, keep things fresh, even though there is a lot of content to learn. And we're actually not going to learn it all. We won't learn the whole book. We never have. So my job is to actually pick out those things that are key, practice them hard, and then the kids have a responsibility on their own to kind of fill in the gaps with the textbook and the workbook. And we do a lot of stuff online as well. So it's always worked out well. Our AP scores have been really good over the years. So I'm confident in that. Even though we're not in the ideal situation, I'm confident that we're going to be, we're going to get through it. So I guess I'll close with that. I'm really happy to have your kids in my class. I can't wait to get back, full force. But in the meantime, we're gonna rock it. We're gonna keep plugging forward and keep LT at the top of our game. So please feel free to reach out, and then maybe we'll do a few more of these kind of chats. That would be great. But in the meantime, if you have individual questions, please reach out to me via email, and let's get some face-to-face. And that way we can kind of fill the gaps, I think, if there are any questions. Okay, so with that, I'll say goodbye. I think my time's running out here. Although I could talk about econ for forever, I should probably close it down here, and hope you guys have a great night. And I look forward to meeting you and talking soon. Bye-bye.